Good afternoon. This is the news at 1 on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I am Osarenoma Saba. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja after spending the Eid al-Kabir holidays in Lagos. The president arrived Abuja and was welcomed by Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. During his stay in Lagos, President Tinubu observed the Salah celebrations, which is a significant religious occasion in Nigeria. In addition to the festivities, the president also commissioned several road projects, showcasing his administration's commitment to infrastructure development in the country. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dingyadi, has said that the priority areas of the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's led administration is designed to reposition Nigeria as a prime global investment destination. According to the minister, the president's priorities is aimed at building a more just and equitable society that is an essential and critical component for its national growth and development, as well as laying a springboard for international integration. The minister gave the explanation at the ongoing 113th session of the International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland, when he presented the Nigerian government's position to the remarks of the ILO Director General, Gilbert Humbo.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to reposition Nigeria as a prime global investment destination. The agenda is hinged on the vision of pursuing and instituting sustained socio-economic prosperity for our country through attaining job creation, inclusiveness, food security, poverty eradication, economic growth, access to capital, improving the security of life and property, rule of law, and fight against corruption.
One that has undergone public hearing, particularly to upscale domestic civil servants in Nigeria and give them registration, recognition, and the benefit so that we will reduce exploitation and also criminality in that job. It was mostly we have been encouraged by the giant stride of our women, because the repayment process and whatever empowerment we've been able to do to support the women, we've seen a lot of repayment coming from the women and the men. And so it goes a long way to show that we need to develop the informal sector so that we can transit more to a formal sector.
For me, the opportunity itself is in the resilience that we build in the informal sector. You hear the Honorable Minister speaking now about the size of the informal sector relative to our economy. If we understand what that size is, you will then know what the impact can be if we do what we need to do, which is provide compensation, provide safety net for that sector.
An articulated tanker loaded with PMS products exploded around Muslim area of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. The tanker exploded after the driver lost control and fell off the road. Oyo State Fire Service responded promptly to stop the fire from spreading into houses nearby. Meanwhile, no life was lost in the explosion. Some stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Akwa Ibom State have asked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission to declare the seats of Governor Umo Eno, national and state legislators, and local government chairmen who defected to the APC vacant. The stakeholders made the demand while addressing the journalists in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. It is no longer news that Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno defected from the PDP to the APC, but what is of interest is the fate of the PDP in Akwa Ibom State, with no reaction coming from the state chapter of the party since the defections. A group known as Concerned PDP Stakeholders in the State, led by Jeremiah Akpanudo, have come out to demand that the mandate of the party given to the defected Governor Eno, legislators and local government chairmen be retrieved by the relevant electoral bodies. The PDP stakeholders are asking that the National Working Committee of the party to reorganize the state ESCOs of the party as the current leadership is compromised. The All Progressives Congress says it is not aware of any ongoing reconciliation between suspended Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara and other stakeholders in government. Rivers State Chairman of APC, Tony Okocha, told journalists in Abuja that Sim Fubara has failed to factor the members of the State Assembly into his reconciliation efforts. On the possibility of Sim Fubara defecting to the All Progressives Congress, Okocha said the move will not be a criteria for overlooking a proper reconciliation process. It will be recalled that President Bola Tinubu had on March 18, 2025, declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, giving him the extraordinary powers as provided by the Nigerian Constitution to suspend Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and members of the State's House of Assembly. Borno State government has donated the sum of 300 million naira to Mokwa flood victims. Professor Babagana Zulum announced the donation when he led a state delegation on a sympathy visit to the government house, Mina, Niger State. He said the donation is to complement the efforts of the Niger State government in addressing the challenges of the disaster. While commiserating with the government and people of Niger State over the devastating effects of the flood that claimed about 206 lives and destroyed property and livelihoods, Professor Babagana Zulum noted that it is time for all subnational governments to work collectively to mitigate the effect of climate change in society.
Water that we are receiving in recent times is a matter of great concern to all of us. The earlier debate was to work on how we shall mitigate the effects of climate change. Rising in sea levels is a matter of great concern. There is a need for us to work together as subnationals to see how we shall reduce the imminence of flooding. I'm also calling on the federal government to establish a robust mechanisms that will check into these issues.
Let us, as a government, on check on our toes, so that we want to be not just like you, but to be more than you. I want to thank you very much for taking our time to visit us in person, and also not just visit us, come with this very high level delegation, and also with a very huge amount of money, 300 million naira.
Niger State Governor Umar Bago appreciated his Borno State counterpart for the visit and donation, saying it is timely and a show of love. He reassured that the donation will be judiciously utilized, even as he said lots of advocacy is ongoing on the need for the people to stay away from the coastlines to avert recurrence. On the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of Marines in Los Angeles to quell protests that have erupted against the arrest of 44 people on Friday for violating immigration laws. Trump on Monday also doubled the strength of National Guard forces that his administration has deployed in the country's second-largest city to 4,000 soldiers. His administration has justified the deployments by arguing in part that local authorities were failing to ensure the safety of law enforcement officials and federal property. But the deployment of the Marines coming on the back of the move to send the National Guard to Los Angeles has sparked criticism, not just from Trump's political opponents like California Governor Gavin Newsom, but also from the Los Angeles police. The UK has sanctioned 2 far-right Israeli ministers over repeated incitement of violence against Palestinian communities in the occupied West Bank. Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich will both be banned from entering the UK and will have any assets in the UK frozen as part of the measures announced by the Foreign Secretary. David Lammy said Finance Minister Smotrich and National Security Minister Ben-Gvir had incited extremist violence and serious abuses of Palestinian human rights. In response, Israel said it is outrageous that elected representatives and members of the government are subjected to these kinds of measures. The sanctions are part of a joint move by the UK, Norway, Australia, Canada and New Zealand. Both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir have also been criticized for their stance on the war in Gaza. Both ministers oppose allowing aid into Gaza and have called for Palestinians there to be resettled outside the territory. 10 people have been killed in a school shooting in the Austrian city of Graz, in what is the deadliest gun attack in the country's recent history. Police said the 21-year-old gunman, a former student, took his own life in a school bathroom shortly after the incident took place at a secondary school in the northwest of the city. According to police, 6 females and 3 males were killed in the attack, according to Interior Minister Gerard Karner. A further 12 people were injured, some seriously. Later on Tuesday, an injured female had died in the hospital, bringing the number of victims killed to 10. Israel says it has deported Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg a day after the Gaza-bound aid boat she and 11 other people were on was intercepted by Israeli forces in the Mediterranean. Thunberg departed Tel Aviv on Tuesday morning on a flight to France after she agreed to be deported, the Israeli foreign minister said. Upon arriving at an airport in Paris, Thunberg accused Israel of illegally kidnapping her and other activists on the boat while they were in international waters. France has said that 5 of the 6 French citizens detained alongside her had refused to sign their deportation orders and would now be subject to judicial proceedings. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition, FFC, the activist group operating the yacht the Madeleine, had demanded the immediate release of everyone detained. Meanwhile, the vessel was intercepted early on Monday while the activists tried to deliver a symbolic amount of aid to Gaza in defiance of Israel's maritime blockade and highlights the humanitarian crisis there. In sports, Brazil and Ecuador secured their spots at the 2026 World Cup on Tuesday, taking the 2nd and 3rd of South America's 6 automatic qualifying berths after champions Argentina booked their ticket in March. Brazil beat Paraguay 1-0, while Ecuador drew 0-0 with Peru, as both teams climbed to 25 points with 2 matches to play, beyond the reach of Venezuela in 7th place. Uruguay with 24 points, and Paraguay with 24, and Colombia with 22 occupy the remaining 3 automatic qualification positions ahead of the final 2 fixtures in September. Venezuela with 18 points would earn a playoff spot against a team from another confederation by finishing 7th. In Sao Paulo, a goal from Real Madrid attacker Vinicius Jr. on the stroke of half-time made it a winning home debut for Brazil's new coach Carlo Ancelotti. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at DominionCast. That ends the news at 1. I am Osarinoma Saba.
Ẹ káàsán, ìròyìn àgbáyé rèé láti móhùnmáwòrán ti Dominion takalẹ̀ sílùú Ìbàdàn. Adùnọlá Ọlábọ̀dé ló níròyìn yẹn. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu ti padà sílùú Àbújá lẹ́yìn ìsinmi ọdún Iléyá tí wọ́n ṣe ní ìlú Èkó. Dídé padà ààrẹ ni ẹni tó jẹ́ olórí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ Fẹ́mi Gbàjàbíàmílà àti akọ̀wé ìjọba àpapọ̀ George Akume ń kí ààrẹ káàbọ̀ padà sílùú Àbújá lákòókò ìsinmi ọdún Iléyá ọ̀hún eléyìí tí ààrẹ ṣe nílùú Èkó ni ààrẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn mùsùlùmí òdodo nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà fún ti ọdún Eid-el-Kabir ọ̀hún. Láfikún lákòókò pọ̀pọ̀ ṣìnṣìn ọdún náà ni ààrẹ tún ṣí àwọn ojú òpópónà kọ̀ọ̀kan tó jẹ́ iṣẹ́ àkànṣe tẹ́yìí sì ń ṣàfihàn ìṣèjọba àfojúsùn eléyìí tí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu tó ní fún ìdàgbàsókè àwọn ohun àmúlò tó péye lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Mínísítà ìgbanisíṣẹ́ àti àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ Muhammad Dingyadi ti ní iṣẹ́ gbòógì fún àwọn ẹ̀ka àtúntò àti àyípadà ọ̀tun lábẹ́ ìṣèjọba ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu ló jẹ́ wọ́n wà fún ìṣelọ́jọ̀ àti sọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí di ibùdó ìdókòwò láàrin àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè lágbàáyé. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mínísítà ọ̀hún ṣe sọ, èròǹgbà ààrẹ ni láti tukọ̀ àwùjọ tó dára fún ìmúgbòòrò ìdàgbàsókè kí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà náà lè dá dúró láàrin àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè yòókù. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni mínísítà ìgbanisíṣẹ́ àti ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tó sọ níbi ìpàdé kan tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ tó jẹ́ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹtàlá lọ́gún ló tó lé ní 100 ìpàdé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ jákèjádò àgbáyé lẹ́yìn tí ó ń wáyé lọ́wọ́ ní Geneva nílùú Switzerland, níbi tí mínísítà náà ti ń sọ nípa rere tí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ń kó nípa ìdarí rẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ náà ló jẹ́ wípé àwọn tó jẹ́ adarí pàápàá jùlọ ẹnìkan tó jẹ́ adarí àgbà níbi ìpàdé ọ̀hún Gilbert Ombo tó jẹ́ oníṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ọkọ̀ aképo kan tó gbé epo pẹtiró gbiná lágbègbè Muslim lójú òpópónà márosẹ̀ Èkó sílùú Ìbàdàn. Ọkọ̀ ọ̀hún gbiná lẹ́yìn tí awakọ̀ rẹ̀ sọ ìjánu nù tó sì mú kí ọkọ̀ náà kó tàkìtì. Ẹ̀ka iléeṣẹ́ panápaná nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tètè jígìrì síbi ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà láti dẹ́kun ìtànkálẹ̀ iná náà sí àwọn agbègbè pàápàá jùlọ láwọn ibùgbé tí ó yí ká. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, kò sí àkọsílẹ̀ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìgbẹ́mìímì kankan lákòókò ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjàmbá náà. Àwọn ṣàǹkóṣàǹkó nílùú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú People's Democratic Party PDP nípínlẹ̀ Akwa Ibom ti ké sí iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìdìbò INEC àti àjọ elétò ìdìbò nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún ìyẹn ACISEC láti kéde ipò gómìnà Umo Heno, àwọn aṣòfin àpapọ̀ àti ti ìpínlẹ̀ tó fi mọ́ àwọn alága ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ tí wọ́n kúrò nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC tó gbé wọn sípò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ààyè tó ṣòfò. Kì í ṣèròyìn mọ́ wípé gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Akwa Ibom Umo Heno ti fi ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP sílẹ̀ tó sì lọ sínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC, ṣùgbọ́n tí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ ní ṣe ni ó kúrò lábẹ́ ìfẹ́ tí àwọn ènìyàn ní kó tó dìbò fún lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP kó tó gbé ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀hún tí ò sì bìkítà ohun tí wọ́n lérò àti èròǹgbà wọn. Àwọn ṣàǹkóṣàǹkó nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP ní àwọn tí bíi èèyàn bíi Jeremiah Akpanudo tó léwájú fún ti wá jáde síta láti pè fún bí àjọ elétò ìdìbò yóò ṣe gbé agbára tí wọ́n ti gbé fún Uno tẹ́lẹ̀ kúrò láti gba ipò ọ̀hún lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀, pàápàá jùlọ bó ṣe yẹ̀bá kúrò nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà. Ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress APC ní àwọn ọmọ ohunkóhun nípa ìbálàjà tó ń wáyé láàrin gómìnà tí wọ́n ní kó lọ rọ́kúnlé nípínlẹ̀ Rivers ìyẹn Siminalayi Fubara àtàwọn ṣàǹkóṣàǹkó nínú ìṣèjọba tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ yìí. Alága ẹgbẹ́ APC nípínlẹ̀ Rivers Tony Okocha ló ń ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí fún àwọn oníròyìn nílùú Àbújá wípé Fubara ti kọ̀ láti wá bí àwọn ọmọ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin rẹ̀ yóò ṣe jókòó ìpàdé ìforíkorí papọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún, wípé bóyá Fubara fẹ́ yẹ̀bá nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó wá sínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress. Okocha ní bó bá tilẹ̀ jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ èyí kò tó ohun tí àfojúfò yóò ṣe wà lórí àwọn nǹkan tó bá tọ́ láti ṣe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá gbàgbé, ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu ní ọjọ́ 18 oṣù kẹta ọdún yìí kéde ìpínlẹ̀ pàjáwìrì lórí ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ti fààyè rẹ̀ sílẹ̀, tó sì ní kí gómìnà Fubara àti ẹni tó jẹ́ igbákejì rẹ̀ tó fi mọ́ àwọn ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin kí wọ́n lọ rọ́kúnlé náà. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Borno ti fún àwọn tí wọ́n lùgbàdì ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ omíyalé ní Mokwa ní owó tó tó mílíọ̀nù lọ́nà 300 owó náírà. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Babagana Zulum ló ń kéde ìfifúnni ọ̀hún lákòókò tí ó léwájú àwọn àṣàyàn nínú ìṣèjọba lọ sí ilé ìjọba tó wà ní Minna láti ṣàbẹ̀wò ìbánikẹ́dùn. Ó ní ẹ̀bùn owó ọ̀hún ló wà fún àti ṣètò ìrànwọ́ fún ìkọlù ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ omíyalé ọ̀hún lákòókò tó ń bá ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Niger kẹ́dùn lórí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ omíyalé náà tó gbẹ̀mí àwọn ènìyàn tí wọ́n lé ní 200. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Babagana Zulum mẹ́nubà ọ̀nà láti fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Niger láti kọjú àìdá tó ń débá ojú ọjọ́. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Niger Umar Bago wá fi ìmọrírì rẹ̀ hàn ní àkókò tó sì ní kí ẹni tó jẹ́ akẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ fún fífi ìfẹ́ hàn àti fún ti ẹ̀bùn owó eléyìí tí wọ́n ṣe. Ó wá sọ̀rọ̀ àrídájú wípé àwọn yóò lo owó ọ̀hún bó ti tọ́ àti bó ti yẹ láti dábọ̀ irúfẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Nínú ìròyìn ilẹ̀ òkèrè, ààrẹ ilẹ̀ US Donald Trump ti pàṣẹ àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò lórí èbúté ìkẹ́rù tó wà ní Los Angeles ní kété tí ìwọ́de ìfẹ̀hónúhàn bẹ́ sílẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí àwọn agbófinró rọ́wọ́ tó àwọn 44 kan tí wọ́n ṣe lòdì sí òfin wíwọlé síbẹ̀. Trump lọ́jọ́ Ajé Monday fi ìlọ́po agbára àwọn agbófinró tí ó wà níbẹ̀ di 4,000. Ìṣèjọba rẹ̀ ló ti ń ṣe àfihàn lílo àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò ní tìbútòrò àwọn ẹsẹ̀ kúkú àti láti gbófinró fún ìdáàbòbò àwọn dúkìá. Ṣùgbọ́n tí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún ti bí ìkùnsínú láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alátakò àti àwọn bíi gómìnà California Gavin Newsom àtàwọn agbófinró, pàápàá jùlọ àwọn èrò tí wọ́n wà láyìíká àti agbègbè ibi tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Ní ilẹ̀ UK ni wọ́n ti rọ́wọ́ tó àwọn kan tí wọ́n jẹ́ ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn ará Israeli kan tí wọ́n jẹ́ mínísítà níbẹ̀ lórí bí wọ́n ṣe ní wọ́n tako àwọn ọ̀nà tí ó ṣe lòdì sí ilẹ̀ Palestine àti agbègbè rẹ̀. Itamar Ben-Gvir àti Bezalel Smotrich ló jẹ́ wọ́n fi ọ̀nà gbédìde báyìí wípé wọ́n kọ̀ láti tẹ̀lé àwọn òfin ìlànà wíwọlé sí ilẹ̀ UK tó sì jẹ́ wípé ilẹ̀ UK ti gbégidí wíwọlé wọn síbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìkéde eléyìí tí akọ̀wé ilẹ̀ òkèrè nílẹ̀ UK tí ó kéde. David Lammy ẹni tó jẹ́ mínísítà fún ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìṣúná ní ilẹ̀ UK àti Smotrich ẹni tó jẹ́ akọ̀wé nípa ètò ìdáàbòbò níbẹ̀ ìyẹn mínísítà Gvir náà ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ wípé ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ará Palestine ọ̀hún ló ti ń dàbí ìtakò ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọnìyàn níbẹ̀. Nínú èsì tí ilẹ̀ Israeli wá fi ni wọ́n ti ní pẹ́pẹ́ bí ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe jẹ́ báyìí tó jẹ́ wọ́n ti dá àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ aṣojú àwọn lọ́wọ́ kọ ọ̀nìṣe ló dàbí ìtàbùkù bá ìṣèjọba ilẹ̀ Israeli fúnra rẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni wọ́n ní gbígbégidí ọ̀nà àti má jẹ́ kí wọ́n wọlé ọ̀hún ló ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ilẹ̀ UK, Norway, Australia, Canada àti New Zealand. Ẹ̀wẹ̀ àti Smotrich àti Ben-Gvir ló jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìtàbùkù bá ọ̀nà àti ìgbésẹ̀ ti ilẹ̀ UK tí wọ́n gbé lórí àwọn mínísítà méjèèjì ọ̀hún. Ènìyàn 10 ni ó pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn nínú ìbọn yínyìn kan tó wáyé ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ kan ní ilẹ̀ Australia tí wọ́n pè ní apá Graz nínú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìkọlù ọlọ́hún ló jẹ́ wípé èèyàn 10 tí wọ́n gbẹ̀mí mì tó sì jẹ́ wípé irú rẹ̀ nínú àkọsílẹ̀ níbẹ̀ ló jẹ́ kò sírú ẹ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. Pẹ̀lú bí àwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣe ti dé agbègbè náà ni wọ́n ní ẹni tí ó yìnbọn ọ̀hún tó jẹ́ ọmọ ọdún 21 ló jẹ́ wípé ó ti jẹ́ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ nínú ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀hún tó sì jẹ́ wípé ní kété tí ó hu ìwà láabi ọ̀hún tán ṣe ló bọ́ sí kọ̀rọ̀ tó sì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó gba ẹ̀mí ara rẹ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ọlọ́pàá ti ṣàlàyé, ìfilọ́lẹ̀ wọn ni àwọn obìnrin 6 àti ọkùnrin 3 ni wọ́n kọ́kọ́ gbẹ̀mí mì lákòókò ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún tí ìkọlù ọ̀hún tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tó sì jẹ́ wípé ìkan nínú àwọn 12 tí wọ́n gbé dìgbàdìgbà lọ sí ilé ìwòsàn ló jẹ́ òun náà padà gbẹ̀mí mì nínú ilé ìwòsàn ọ̀hún. Nínú ìròyìn eré ìdárayá, Brazil àti Ecuador ti gba ipò wọn nínú ìdíje ti ife ẹ̀yẹ àgbáyé ti 2026 lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ní wọ́n gba ipò náà ní ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun Tuesday pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n ṣe gba ipò méjì nínú mẹ́ta tó wà ńlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ará gúúsù ilẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà. Pẹ̀lú bí ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe rí báyìí, Brazil na Paraguay ní àmì ayò 1-0 tí Ecuador sì gba àmì dọ́gbadọ́gba pẹ̀lú Peru. Pẹ̀lú bí àwọn ọkọ̀ méjèèjì tí wọ́n ṣe ti gun òkè àjà pẹ̀lú àmì 25 báyìí tó sì jẹ́ wípé wọn yóò jọ figagbága ní Venezuela ìyẹn nínú àkókò tí ó bá ti pé. Uruguay ló jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ti gba ipò tí àmì wọn tó ti lé 24 báyìí tí Paraguay sì ti gba 24 bákan náà pẹ̀lú Colombia tí wọ́n ti gba àmì 22 pẹ̀lú bí ìdíje ọ̀hún ṣe ń lọ báyìí ló jẹ́ wípé wọn yóò ta kàngbọ̀ ní Sao Paulo ló jẹ́ pé àwọn ohun tí wọn yóò fi ta kàngbọ̀ pẹ̀lú àmì ayò àti ikọ̀ ti Real Madrid ẹni tó jẹ́ Vinicius Junior tó jẹ́ alátagbà wọn ló jẹ́ yóò ṣe dáadáa pẹ̀lú ìdíje eléyìí tó ń bọ̀ tí ẹni tó jẹ́ akọ́nimọ̀ọ́gbà wọn Carlo Ancelotti yóò sì wà nínú ìdíje ọ̀hún. Ẹ lè darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí àwọn ìkànnì alátagbà wa lórí www.dominion.ng.org tàbí lórí àwọn ìkànnì olùbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ wa ti Facebook, TikTok, YouTube àti LinkedIn lórí Dominion Broadcast tàbí lórí ojú òpó X wa Dominion Cast. Ìròyìn àgbáyé kò jù báyìí lọ láti orí móhùnmáwòrán Dominion. Adùnọlá Ọlábọ̀dé ìlú níròyìn. Ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ ń tẹ́tí bọ̀ wá.